Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Blissful Literati. Hope you are staying safe inside your homes and properly following the lockdown rules and regulations. Till now, there has been no news of a definite cure for this pandemic. Neither have we been able to dispatch any vaccine to prevent this from happening again. But life moves on, and the government has issued a notice to start the schools for middle to senior classes under stringent measures to prevent the spreading of the disease. There has been some other notices too regarding the pending board exams. Noticing all these notices waiting to be noticed around us, we here at Blissful Literati made a note of bringing a session on notice writing for all of you, and voila, here we are. So today we will have a short but really important lesson on how to ace notice writing. Notice writing doesn't really take much time, and almost all the information are already provided in the question sentence. Hence, with a little care and following a few rules, it is possible to score big in this writing task. So without further ado, let's begin with the fundamental questions. Why should we write notice at all, and what are the most important elements in a well-written notice? So basically, notice is written to convey some important information to a specific group of people. A government body, school, some authority always issues a notice for the subjects. Subjects, by subjects I mean people whom they rule over, they govern over, they have some right over. So it is always coming from a position of power. Not everybody can issue a notice without proper rights. This nature of notice makes it an official mode of communication. Now let's talk about the 5 W's in a well-written notice. There are 5 major parts in a well-written notice which makes it the best. What are they? First of all, what is going to happen? The basic thing. Why are you going to issue the notice? What is going to happen? Where it is going to happen? The place, venue, when it is going to happen. Obviously, if something is going to happen and if it is going to happen somewhere, then there must be a time when it is going to happen. And who can be there when it happens? You see, notice, as I have already mentioned, is some special important information given to a specific group of people. It is not meant for everybody in general. And if it is meant for everybody in general, that too is mentioned in the notice. By the nature of the notice, it is made evident. So, who can be there when it happens? And finally, who is the issuing authority? Very well, you have a notice, you know what is going to happen, when it is going to happen, where it is going to happen. You are invited, all right. But who invited you? Who says that something is going to happen at that particular moment in that particular place? Unless you know, unless you trust the authority, there is no reason that you should follow or give any importance to that notice. So the issuing authority is a must. The sentences in a notice writing must be precise and accurate. Precise, it should be short, brief, and grammatically accurate. But remember, in those short sentences and grammatically logically accurate sentences, you have to provide all the informations which are required to to understand the notice. AOI, that is, any other information that is relevant can be provided even if it is not there in the question. You see, we are doing this keeping our CBSE exams in mind, our class exams. Now, as in the exam, there is a question already given, and that question contains all the relevant information that you must put in a notice. But sometimes it may seem that something is needed, something is missing, some information can make the notice even more appealing. So don't worry that it is not there in the question. Add it. If you have the words left in your hand, if you have some space left, time left, do add it because that will make your notice even more impactful. Next, let us talk about the rules. First of all, most important, notices are always written in a box. You see, you can write letters, paragraphs, everything, anything. there is no point in creating this box or keeping that in mind. But whenever you're writing a notice, you have to always keep in mind that you must make a box around it. Next, notices must be written in passive voice as much as possible. Fine, you may use active voice, but notices, as a rule, generally they follow passive voice. You see, the reason being the importance is on the action, on the topic, on the event, more than the person issuing the notice. Whoever is issuing the notice is important, yes, but only as the issuing authority. He has or she has, they have no other importance. But the notice, whatever information is being conveyed in the notice, that is very much important. So to keep the focus or emphasis on the information being conveyed, notices must be written in passive voice as much as possible. Then the ideal word limit. As you can understand, notices are information being conveyed. So how many words do you need to convey some information, something that you want to say? Not much. Notice is something which is very urgent, which is really official. So there is no space to gossip, to talk, right? So the ideal word limit for notice is between 40 to 50 words. Now remember, these 40 to 50 words, we don't count the school name, institution name, the date, the heading, the word notice, all the things that we don't count. 40 to 50 words, we count only the words in the main body, the main content. That should be in 40 to 50 words. Notice must catch the attention of its intended audience at once. To this end, catchy phrases or slogans can be used, making it visually appealing as well. Apart from catchy phrases or slogans, you can also combine capital letters, small letters to make the notice visually appealing. And obviously, because notice conveys some very important information to the intended audience, it is really important that whoever is reading the notice, for whoever it is meant, those people, whenever they are reading the notice, their attention is immediately captured so that they don't miss any iota of information from that notice. It can be a notice on competition, it can be a notice on excursion, it can be on trips, tours, it can be exhibitions, some events, it can be a lost and found notice. Notice can be of anything, but the point is, unless it catches the attention of its intended audience, people will miss important information. Now let's talk about the format of a typical notice. First of all, the name of the institution or organization. Basically, the place that the writer, the issuing authority, is representing. It can be a school, it can be college, it can be any other government body or any kind of authoritative body. Then the word notice. This should come in all caps. The word notice. And also remember the name of the institution or organization, whichever you're providing, that too should ideally come in all caps. And these two items should occupy the center position of the box that you have already made. Next, we give the date when the notice is issued. Now remember, this date is very important because obviously a notice is being issued for some event, occasion, some ceremony, some exhibition, excursion, whatever be the topic, to take place. Now, a notice is issued in a particular time with some time in hand so that the participants can get ready, prepare well beforehand. But this date can be quoted, right? If this date is very tied with the actual event, then the participants, they may not get enough time for preparation and they can quote the date. Okay, this time this notice was issued and we didn't get enough time to prepare. So remember this date. Whenever you are issuing a notice, remember to issue it quite beforehand so that everybody gets enough time to prepare or take or do whatever they need to do to attend that event. Next, heading. The main topic line on which the notice will be issued. Now, this heading must be catchy. It must capture the attention of the audience, intended people at once. You can always use any kind of slogan or catchy phrases in this part. That is all allowed. And but remember, it should be really short. It should not be too long. In this case, you can make a point to refer the formal letter. In formal letter, subject line. The subject line in formal letter must be really, really short, but at the same time, completely significant. Same here. In notice writing, the heading should be short, but at the same time, highly significant and catchy. Just reading the heading, the main line, the audience may decide whether to read the notice or to skip it. So keep that in mind. Then comes the body part, the main text that contains all the information, and this is the part that must contain 40 to 50 words. And within those words, within those limits, everything, every single information must be provided. Next comes the signature of the person issuing the notice, their names. If you are issuing the notice, your initial, your short form, right? That is the signature. Then your name, the authoritative name in case of a short signature. Otherwise, a single input will work. For example, what I am trying to say here is if you sign your name in full, there is no need to write your name again. But if you use short form for signature, you should write your name just below it and your name should be all in caps. Next comes designation. This is the issuing authority. Why we should give importance to your notice. Who are you? What is your position? If you're just anybody roaming around, there is no reason that we should give any importance to your notice. But if you are some authoritative figure, like some secretary or maybe some issuing authority principal or some other kind of government, non-government official, in that case, your notice becomes really important. Not because of you, but because of the authoritative position you represent. So designation in a notice is always must. Also, you may have noticed in your report cards even just beneath the signature of your principal sir or the class teacher, these designations are present. Class teacher, principal, vice principal. So that designation makes those signature really significant and gives them validation. So designation is a must. Now let's talk about some value points which we should include in different notice types. Here we will discuss basic three types of notice and what points we should include in them. First of all, notice on meeting. Here we should include the date, obviously, when the meeting will take place. Remember, this date is not the issuing date. That is mandatory. Whatever points we are going to discuss here should constitute the main body part. So apart from the date when you're issuing the notice, you must always mention the date when this meeting is going to take place. Then time. Obviously, you know the date, but you don't know the time. So how will you be able to attend the meeting? You have to call the person up, you have to inquire about all these things. So why toil? Just write date, time, and also the place where this meeting is going to take place, the venue. Then the topic. This meeting has been called, but why? What is the main topic, main agenda in this meeting? And then its objective or its purpose. We have the agenda, we have the topic, but what is the purpose? Why are we having it? Why are we discussing on that particular topic or we're having that agenda? Finally, it should include the people who should attend the meeting. If it is a staff meeting, you should always include the staff members, but not anybody and everybody else. Similarly, if it is a selective coterie among your staff, then only that section must join the meeting, not everybody, not all the staffs. So, people to attend the meeting must be specified in your notice. Contact person if needed. You see, despite providing all the information in a notice, sometimes there are some questions left. So, whom to ask if anybody has any question? So the contact person, the undersigned, or if it is anybody else, that information must be provided in a notice. Finally comes AOI, that is any other information that is relevant to your notice. All this, then finish it with your signature, name, and designation. Next, we will talk about events. Notice on several kinds of events. First of all, again, give the name of the event. Then provide the date. Again, the date on which that event will take place. And if date is there, then obviously time must also be there. And finally, describe the event. What is going to happen? We have, okay, fine. Suppose it is annual function, that is the name. But what events will be there in annual function? Those also you have to briefly outline, not a complete schedule, but just the outline. Okay, these things one can expect. Then comes the venue where it will take place. If it is an event, definitely it needs a place to happen. So, what is it? Which place? People to attend. Who are going to attend to this event? No, it is not open for everybody. So, for whom? Then again, the contact person. If anybody has any query, they can always go and ask that person personally, over phone, whatever they want. But contact person, contact details is mandatory. And just after that, provide any other information which you may think is relevant to the event. Next, we will talk about a very important segment: tours, camps, excursions, exhibitions. All this comes under the same or similar kind of setup, which are, first of all, name and nature. You see, tour, camps, excursions, exhibitions. What is it? What is it actually that you're giving the notice on? So, name and nature of the notice. Time and duration. You see, if it is an excursion, for example, or some camping tour, it should be of some specific time period, a beginning time, starting point, and an ending point. So, time and duration is essential. Similarly, exhibition, how long it is going to take place. So, time and duration is a must. Then you provide the place or venue. If it is an exhibition, it is at a fixed place. So, what is the venue? And if it is an excursion, then to which place? Okay, national, international, outside state, inside state. What is the place? Date. Obviously, you have all the information, but you don't know the date. Definitely, you are going to miss it. Then comes nature. What is the nature of your notice? Are you informing, or are you inviting them, or are you appealing them to join you? So, that nature must be there. Then, people to participate. If it is a junior school exhibition or excursion, then the senior students need not participate. If it is a senior school camping, then the junior students, they should not come along. So people to participate must be specified. Then participation fee, and this is very important. Suppose you're writing a notice on behalf of your school. So definitely in all these events there are some cost. So participation fee is mandatory. And if you are going on a tour, excursion, then consent letter, it is needed. Parents must give their consent that okay, I'm allowing my child to go with you on this tour and I take all the responsibilities if anything happens. That consent letter is a must in case of all these things. But remember again, in case of exhibition, we don't need a consent letter, but we may still need a participation fee. Next, as usual, contact person and any other information which you may find relevant. So, this final point, as you have noticed, keeps a whole room open. Whatever you want, you can add to add some depth to your notice. So always use this section with much consideration. Next, let's come to a sample notice. First of all, ABC School. This is the name of the institution. Remember, ideally speaking, when you're writing a notice in exams, try not to use your own school name. Sometimes The name of the institution or the organization is provided. If by chance it is not, that is once in a million. If it is not provided, then make something up, but try not to use the actual name. So first ABC School all in caps. Then the word notice. The first heading that this is a notice. Then you provide the date. Now date can be provided on this side of the page or it can be provided on the opposite side of the page as well. There is no restrictions in this case. Then comes the main heading, the annual function celebration 2020. So this is one of the headings. You can make it even more catchy, you can make it as a slogan, whichever, however way you can add some zing to it. Next comes the main body. All the students are hereby notified that our school is going to organize the annual function this year on 25th December 2020 in the school auditorium. There will be several cultural programs followed by annual prize distribution. The Honorable Chief Minister will grace the occasion with his auspicious presence. Our Director Madam will chair the occasion and enlighten us with her pearls of wisdom. The program will start at 12 p.m. and will continue till 6 p.m. in the evening. There will be a Christmas celebration with cake cutting ceremony and cracker show from 8 p.m. for 30 minutes before we wrap up the program. The students are free to dress as per their wish, but remember to keep it sober. For any further information, please contact the undersigned. Then our Paul, this is the signature. See, initial. And since we have the initial here, we need a complete name, that is Rajneesh Paul. This is the name. And why should we give importance to Rajneesh Paul? Because he's the event manager. This is his designation. So designation is also important. Otherwise, Rajneesh Paul, R. Paul can be anybody, and hence we don't need to pay any attention to that guy. Now, always remember to keep your notice inside a box. Now, all the students, first thing, remember the W's, who can be there. All the students, this notice goes for all the students. Apart from the students, the event will see the chief minister, the director madam, and other guests as well. Then we have the place where school auditorium. If you follow the arrow, we have the school auditorium. The second W, where. Then we have the what to happen. What is going to happen? Annual function. And then we have the event, main event. What event is going to take place? 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. we have the main cultural program. Then there will be Christmas celebration with cake cutting ceremony, and there a firecracker show from 8 p.m. to for 30 minutes. So these are the events which are provided again. And then we have additional information. The students are free to dress as per their wish, but remember to keep it sober. Then, obviously, the contact person. For any further information, please contact the undersigned. Undersigned, that is Rajneesh Paul, the event manager. For any further information, just like this, one sentence is enough to provide this information. And remember another W we missed, that is when, the time, 25th December 2020. So that's how we complete our notice. I hope you now know perfectly well how to write a notice. Remember to keep your notice short and simple and catchy. Thus, we end our session today, but tomorrow we will be back again. In the meantime, keep learning, and if you have any doubts, you know how to reach us. Yes, just leave a comment. Until we meet again, bye bye.